Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us on another episode of the Liverpool Connection podcast. Early kickoff, Jono,
We don't like
and
them, do we?
well, I mean, like I've always said, you can't drink all day unless you start early.
It's true.
And now, but you just hope that the weekend would start better than losing to Man City 4-1. You know, the narrative coming into the game today was that Liverpool shows up for the top six games, right? We had the best record
Right.
against the teams in the top six, and then what happened today? We lose 4-1, 1-1 at halftime. The starting lineup was pretty much selected itself. We don't really have a lot of options in the midfield.
Right.
So Trent, Van Dijk, Kanate, Rabo, Elliott playing again, played every game this season.
Yeah.
Fabinho, Hendo, Salah, Gapco, and Jota. Nunez on the bench because he had a little cut on his leg. But anyway, so any thoughts about first of all the lineup, and then we can get into the game.
I mean, it felt like it was either going to be a lineup like this, the 4-3-3 with Endo, Fab, and Elliott, or he goes for it and does whatever, puts a fourth forward in. So not really surprised. Then, first half, we kind of, we caught him on the break a few times, which, it's a decent tactic. They could have scored, we could have scored another. So, first half it looked like it was working about as well as you would expect. That they obviously would dominate possession, but I think it was pretty even, probably on really good chances. But man, we're just one goal away from just the collapse at any point against any team. It seems like.
And you say the collapse, and I think that goes back to the mentality of the team, right? With that, we have been good against the top six. We've been pretty shat against the bottom. So I think all that is mentality of the team, right? The confidence when you go behind, whether you work your way out of that. So we go at 1-0. Nice counterattack with Jota holding up play and
Right.
Leaving it for Salah, and Salah one time finish. Great counterattack goal. It's good to see Salah on the score sheet again. Once again, Salah gets fouled all the time. He doesn't get any calls. He gets the yellow. Rodri, I think it could have been a changing point in the game where he could have had his second yellow, and they didn't give him the second yellow.
And I can, on reflection, I can sort of look at that and you can sort of see it's not as egregious as the first one because he kind of just grabs him a little, but only for a brief second. You like to think, but I don't understand the Salah one when you're constantly putting your hands around somebody's completely around their body and over their neck and stuff. But ultimately, we had the other chance where we got Salah and he tries to square it to Jota and Grealish gets back there and we got to score those. That's kind of goal they scored. Where it's not quite the same, but their goal after start of the second half, it's not too dissimilar, and they just put the ball across and make it. And Allison is a fingertip away from pushing it.
So let's go back to the first goal that they scored. A lot of things wrong with that.
Yeah.
Rabo
Yeah.
pushes up out of the position.
Right.
It goes through him to the guy that he just left into that space. He's allowed to dribble across the middle. Van Dijk kind of, again, is just passively playing defense. Kind of,
Right.
I don't know what he's doing really, to be honest with you. He doesn't get stuck in the tackle. He's letting him come across.
He kind of steps forward out of his lane, but it doesn't make anything, and he's out of position. I mean, I think it was just a mess by all the defense.
Yeah. And
Robbo makes the mistake. Van Dijk follows it up, and then Trent doesn't read where that next pass is going to go either. Which, to be fair to him, he's got less help from the centre backs anymore, so he's trying to stay central. But everybody messes up.
I mean, staying central, but then he drops. He's 5 yards behind the defensive line, right?
Exactly.
But Van Dijk allowing the ball to come across.
Yeah.
It's like he's passing the responsibility to somebody else. Go make a tackle, big guy. Right? And then obviously Trent gets exposed. He's 5 yards off. That pass goes to him, and then they score. And it's pretty demoralizing as a team. We're 30 goals to the bad on goal differential.
Right.
And we're not playing good team defense, obviously, right now. So 1-1, we go into halftime.
Well, that's the thing. We kind of stemmed it. Even though they scored that goal, we kind of held them pretty good till halftime. Yeah. And then it was after that, I think, that, Rodri is doing what City always do, is anytime anyone tries to break away up the middle, they just immediately foul. And some reason they only get the occasional yellow for that. But anyway, we kind of, kind of recovered. I think we didn't collapse at that point. It was just after the one after our halftime is when our heads just went.
Well, I mean, we come out at halftime. I blame it on the ref. He wasn't ready. His shit wasn't ready. So anyway, it destroyed our rhythm. We have a time.
That's what we'll go through.
But yeah, we're grabbing at straws now, right? But anyway, so they score within the first 2 minutes of the second half. Right. Simple ball out to the left.
So easy. Yeah.
And once again, and I'm going to slate the guy, man, because I really think he's not taking responsibility for his position. Van Dijk gets beat down the center by Kevin De Bruyne, right? You and I, we play center back, and not at that level, obviously. But the basic fundamental thing is when the ball goes wide as a center back, you get back as fast as possible. And you can't let De Bruyne beat you down the pitch. And I'm sorry. I think, once again, the announcer said it's fine margins. That's a fine margin. When you aren't focused, you look at the ball, and when you should be sprinting back and looking at the ball as a center back, it's harsh, but it's the fine margins that separate right now that our team isn't doing.
I think as soon as the ball goes wide and he turns around, he's too far away from De Bruyne at that point, and he can't get back. But why is he so far away from either player? Yeah, I guess.
Well, the thing is, he's at midfield. De Bruyne is at midfield. De Bruyne sprinted, right, and Van Dijk kind of waited to sprint, and then he decided, and it was too late. Nice pass across, but I mean, it was so simple, Jono.
Yeah, they did it all game long. They did it later after that many times to the other side. Those switches were just wide open, and Klopp will probably say it's more about putting pressure on the ball to do the switch, which we clearly didn't do as well today. First half, we pressed pretty well. And then second half, the other thing I don't understand is we switch out all our forwards and we leave our tired, older midfielders that are going to have to play in the next few games. We leave them on pretty much the full game. Did Henderson, Fabinho? I mean, Milner comes on right at the end, I guess, I missed who he came on for, but why are we leaving them on? I mean,
we don't have a lot of options.
Did those 4 subs do anything? Well, bring Milner on for one of them. If the game is gone at 3-1 and it's 75 minutes.
Yeah, but the thing is, a Liverpool team, capitulating and say, okay, the game is lost. It's hard to take, right? When the other team is doing olays.
I'm Chris from Redmen TV. Do us a favour, do yourself a favour, and subscribe to the Liverpool Connection podcast. Do it now.